Welcome into the latest edition of Cincinnati Soccer Talk, the first podcast by the fans, for the fans, covering FC Cincinnati. Glad you're with us. I'm Nick Sermling alongside Brad Weigel and Boston Razzle Dazzle Brazzle. We've got a good show in store for you this week. We actually get to talk about actual soccer being played, FC Cincinnati fans. So I know we're super jacked about that. Of course, we're going to be doing some fan interaction tonight. We're going to be reading your chats. We're going to be playing a little trivia as well. So we need 4 of you tonight here. If you want to participate in CST trivia, get in touch with us on the King's Hammer hotline, 513-399-KICK. So, as I mentioned, we want 4 of you to call in. Rob Pierce standing by, ready to take your calls. We'll be playing the game a little bit later on in the show. So, we've got actual soccer to talk about. So, let's welcome in my cast of characters for this week. I'll start first and foremost with Brad Weigel. Brad, how are you, buddy?
Good, Subes. I'm looking forward to this trivia here. Maybe win a couple prizes, maybe a CST water bottle, maybe a gift card. Who knows? But make sure we're looking for 4 of you to call in. Should be a good time, and hopefully we'll use this as a way to learn a little bit more about our team for this upcoming season.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it as well. Just glad too to just really be talking about soccer again, which is really the most exciting thing. FC Cincinnati, obviously last week, getting a couple of good results in their first 2 preseason friendlies. But if you're just joining us late, we want you to call in 513-399-KICK. If you want to play CST trivia, this is your chance, FCC fans. 513-399-KICK. All right, let's welcome in Boston Razzle Dazzle Brazzle himself, Mr. PTO. Boston, how you doing, bud?
Doing well. I'm doing pretty well. Didn't get thrown out any Super Bowls or Super Bowl parties this year, and I'm pleased to announce that more people are watching this Cincinnati Soccer Talk stream than attended the Super Bowl. Just maybe some more skewed soccer facts that I could throw out there.
We're definitely going to be talking about that here on tonight's show. Speaking of Super Bowls, let's talk a little bit about what you did for the Super Bowl, Boston. Do you have any traditions? Did you do anything fun for the game?
If it's a good game or one I'm excited about, I'll go to a party or hang out with friends. And this just was not the year. I mean, it's kind of a poetic justice, or I guess the opposite of that, because I lucked out. I made no plans. I stayed at home. I ordered a pizza, which somehow got here on time because, let's face it, I mean, I just think it was that boring that even the pizza delivery guys were on time. And watched the Super Bowl just at the house, and drank some beers, got bored to tears. That's how it went.
I did not watch the Super Bowl. I've kind of I've boycotted maybe boycott's a strong word. I'm just not into it as much as I used to be. So I spent most of my Sunday night putting together a new video intro. So I hope everybody dug that. We'd love to hear your feedback on that. Brad, how about you? You got anything cool that you do for Super Bowls? I know you're a big Derby guy.
Yeah, Derby's definitely my holiday. But I'll tell you what, I was actually looking forward to this Super Bowl more than the past couple of years. I'm not necessarily sure why. I maybe thought that it was going to be interesting. Turned out to be the complete opposite. But I have to say, I got more enjoyment out of Dave Portnoy of Barstool getting kicked out than I did watching the game. Then also, I did not know this, but I guess corn syrup is bad for beer.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, the Twitter wars. That was the social media. I guess maybe that's what's more fun about the Super Bowl is seeing everything happening on social media. So I'm sitting here, following TweetDeck while I'm editing video, and I got my updates through that. But that was pretty funny. Let's see here. So we kind of teased it. MLS Cup drew 73,000 fans there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And the Super Bowl drew 70,000 fans So MLS Cup outdraws the Super Bowl this year. And soccer Twitter and soccer social media went berserk. And then football fans who hate soccer went berserk. So we kind of had our own little debate amongst CSTers last night about those numbers. Boston on the side of, oh, come on, guys, this is Super Bowl. And a few of us were like, hey, we still outdrew NFL. So, Boston, your take?
Everybody put your hot takes away. There is no hot take. I mean, did you see the CBS arena that they had for their booth and all of the media that was required, and just everything that just took up space? That chews up seats. That's paying customer seats. Not to mention the price of a Super Bowl ticket is thousands upon thousands of dollars, and you could go to the Atlanta MLS final for under $100.
I heard they were giving tickets away.
Super fan friendly. Don't get me wrong; it's awesome that you can go to an MLS Cup final. Like the average Joe can go to an MLS Cup final, but the average Joe cannot go to the Major League, the Super Bowl.
You're wrong. You're incorrect. This proves our point that soccer is finally overtaken football as our national pastime.
National. I don't know if I'm going that far, but no, I think the fact that.
And we'll have Pro Rel in 5 years too.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're headed. I still think the fact that they outdrew the Super Bowl, it's interesting. I don't know if it necessarily means anything. You're comparing apples to oranges here. Look, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but I just think it's kind of cool that it happened, and it's a thing. I think what's more, I don't know, maybe entertaining about all of this is the eruption on social media amongst the fans of both sports. I don't know.
At least with MLS Cup, I'm happy that all of our halftime entertainment kept their shirts on. They didn't dress in curtains. So that's a plus for MLS, I guess.
I beg MLS to please never have a halftime show. Please, let's not. As it is, we're a little too corporate. Let's not go the Super Bowl halftime show route in MLS Cup.
But
unless it's Shakira.
Yeah. If you want to talk about a positive point, though, you do have to acknowledge the rise of American soccer. I mean, 73,000. That's quite impressive. So,
yeah,
I think if anything, I think it's definitely made the casual sports fan take notice that, who maybe have not heard that stat before, look twice and be like, huh.
And then Rob on Twitter brings us right back down to earth. TV ratings would be more telling. Yeah.
Hey, TV ratings they did come in today. That was a 10-year low for the Super Bowl, but that's not surprising with how slow that thing was. There's got to be a ton of people that just shut that thing off.
The state of Louisiana didn't even turn the TV on. The whole state.
Yeah. Oh, man. So anyway, Super Bowl Sunday is always kind of a big deal. I used to make Super Bowl Sunday was always steak day. Like I would make a steak. And then now that I've stopped watching the Super Bowl, I'm that guy who just sits in the basement all grumpy and talking under his breath while my children and wife are upstairs watching the Super Bowl, having a good old time. And of course, I'm sure my wife enjoyed the Adam Levine halftime show.
Oh, my word.
On that note, let's talk a little soccer, shall we, guys? A little football, some real football. FC Cincinnati goes to IMG last week. They played their first 2 preseason friendlies of the year. They get a 1-1 draw with the Montreal Impact and get a 1-0 win over the Colorado Rapids. So some of us were fortunate enough to see a stream of the Montreal Impact game, and some of us didn't get to see the Rapids game at all. So what you saw of the Impact game, Boston, is there anything that you can take away, or is this simply, well, this is just preseason soccer, it doesn't really matter?
I mean, it's definitely preseason soccer. Not only that, it's early preseason soccer where, you've got this newly formed FC Cincinnati team just trying to really figure themselves out. And so I wouldn't take much away. And you could see early in that game, anyone that was watching, Montreal streamed the game, which was kind of cool from their Twitter account. It's the first half. Montreal looked great. I mean, they looked like a team that have competed in Major League Soccer before, and they kind of took it to FC Cincinnati. And we saw the TT make some decent saves. We saw him get scored on. We saw the post make some great saves. And then in the second half, FC Cincinnati kind of found that footing. They kind of gained their confidence a little bit, and it was more of a game. I think many writers that were there, watched the whole thing, agreed that it was definitely Montreal's game. Even Allan Cruz said it in his post-game interviews. Like, Montreal was the better team here, but we ended up scoring because of a great heads-up ball by Lasso, kicking in with the wind, getting that ball in front of Maddox, who uses his speed to get down and just really kick a great goal and tie that game. So, that's one of those matches where you almost want to see it in the regular season, like a knocked out, drag out. You're playing a team that might be better than you, and you can still walk away with some points. And I think it's pretty cool. FCC fought in the second half and kind of came together a little bit more. But don't take anything away from this. Even everything I said, just ignore it because it's the first preseason game.
That's great analysis. Listen to everything I just said for the past 2 minutes. Oh, but yeah, don't listen to anything I just said. That's fantastic. We wouldn't have it any other way, Boston. One thing that we do know, Brad, is that Forrest Lasso had somewhat of an impact last week for the Orange and Blue.
Hey, if you would have listened to last week's show, you would have known this was going to happen already. But with our hot takes going on, but no, I'm happy to see the big guy step up and play this level. And I know he's getting a lot of praise for his goal and his assist, but you look at what FC Cincinnati's done so far as a defense. They give up 1 goal to Montreal, and then they pitched their first shutout the other day versus the Rapids. So I think if you're looking at some positive takeaways, it looks like this team's gelling a little bit faster on the back line. I know that Piatti from Montreal had a couple nice chances, might have gone off the post. That's part of the game this time of year. But I think that has to be a positive. I think you might have had a little bit of worry if this team would have come out and gave up a couple goals. So looks like the chemistry that Allan has really made it one of his important characteristics of the team. It looks like they're gelling together pretty quickly. So I definitely have to like what Lasso's doing. I really like what the whole back line's doing, and Dom's played really well. I think that he had a large part of that Lasso goal. So yeah, I think that they got some good players. Definitely Montreal, and to keep them to 1 goal, that's a success in my opinion in their first exercise.
Yeah, one thing to keep an eye on, and I think this is probably something we're going to see quite a bit this year from FC Cincinnati, based on what we've seen roster-wise. A lot of sitting in and absorbing pressure, and then when you're getting that opportunity, putting those balls over the top and getting in behind defenses. And we saw that happen in the goal versus Montreal. Forrest Lasso with a long ball over the top, which allowed the speedy Darren Maddox to run onto that and get the first goal for FC Cincinnati this preseason. So something we're probably, I don't know, I'm venturing to guess, Boston, that might be something we see quite a bit this year.
I'll be honest, going into this preseason, and I was a little doubtful of some of our USL guys, some of the guys that are, we brought up, including Forrest Lasso. And I was unsure if I really honestly thought it was going to be a hard time for these guys to break into the lineup. And I still somewhat am on that page with the star CBs. They've just went out like Hageland, and just made these deals to get it. But it is getting harder and harder to ignore guys like Forrest Lasso. And I have a feeling Corbin Bone and Nas and Ledesma are going to make a similar case for themselves. It's just what do you do? What do you do when you have guys that won't stop performing and won't take, their spot on the bench and are going to fight for minutes? It's a good problem to have, but I give Forrest Lasso credit where credit's due, because I wrote him off and I shouldn't have.
Don't ever write off Forrest Lasso, Boston. You should know better by now. If you were there at IMG, we'd love to hear from you. Get in touch with us on the Kings Hammer hotline, 513-399-KICK. Of course, we're also looking to play some CST trivia tonight. We need 4 players. Right now, 1 spot has been filled. We need 3 more. So get in touch with us, 513-399-KICK, 513-399-KICK. And again, if you were there at IMG, we'd love to hear from you as well. So get in touch.
I guess another bright spot to take away from IMG Academy real quick, Nick, is TT. I guess he's been playing really well down there and knocking off some of that rust. I think that's great to see. He's turned a bunch of heads so far. So I think if you think about the defense and all those guys gelling together, I think him playing 90 minutes the first match and probably 75 minutes the second match, I think that those are 2 positives to take away.
Oh, very much so. I think there's no question he's your number 1 going into this season. The fact they used an international spot on him. And by the way, just in the offseason, seeing the highlight video of his saves, his reaction saves, this guy, he's going to be pretty exciting between his sticks for FC Cincinnati. And to be fair, we we're anticipating, and maybe this is a bad anticipation on our part, but I feel like this team is going to be conceding a lot of shots this year. So having a good shot stopper, Brad, might bode well for the orange and blue.
Yeah, especially early in the season. I think that I really want to see how FC Cincinnati can hold on to that ball. I think you talked about a little bit ago about, and Pat Brennan talked about it. We've been a little bit toothless on the attack, and some of the times a great defense is a good offense. And I think that if we have a little bit trouble possessing the ball, a lot of the times that comes with chemistry. Guys may not know exactly where one player is going to be. You saw some of that in the Montreal game where they just had that familiarity. He's definitely going to have to come up with some big saves that first half of the season.
Boston, got anything to add to that?
I'm pretty sure a member of Forrest Lasso's family just told me that I better not write Forrest Lasso off, and that kind of shook me, and I have no idea what Brad said. Throwing off my game now.
We're talking about TT, our new FC Cincinnati goalkeeper, and how much of an impact we think he's going to have this season for the orange and blue.
No, I think the quote I saw this week that kind of I almost didn't realize, but Koch said he hasn't played in a while. And that's the reason that you've seen him rolled out there 2 games in a row. Richie's injury is part of it, but really they're just trying to get this guy minutes. If he's going to be the starting keeper, he needs as many minutes as he can get due to that time off. And I like what I've seen so far. I don't like how many saves the post has had, but in a way, he might have had those covered anyway. I can't wait to actually just watch the guy play, because watching these streams through somebody's cell phone is killing me. And once we get actual footage on the guy playing for FC Cincinnati, and maybe it's a good thing we can't see him until the Carolina Challenge Cup, because he'll have some of those reps in, and he'll have a little bit more experience, and he'll be back to more of his old form, and we'll kind of get a better look of him. Maybe if I watched Montreal version of him, I might be ripping him to shreds right now, and I probably shouldn't.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of ripping this year, Boston, from from whether it's fans of the opposing team. Who knows? Look, it's going to be obviously it's 1 week. It's 2 preseason friendlies. Allan Cruz would be the first to tell you to chill out on all of the excitement, because it is just preseason friendlies. But we can't help it. We're talking about actual soccer here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk, and that is a great thing. So. Just a reminder, we are playing some CST trivia tonight. So we need 3 more players to get involved. Would hate to see all these fantastic trivia questions go to waste this evening. So please get in touch with us, 513-399-KICK. Brad, you want to add something to that?
Just worked hard for him, man. Colin, I got some good questions.
Not just you, but our intern Jacob as well helped out as well.
I see plenty of people in the chats that have called in before. I mean, maybe one of the old man ultras should call in, or maybe who was our guy from Kentucky? That Bill Grandesta. He needs to call in. Bill Grandesta would be a fun call on trivia.
I heard his prepaid minutes are up though. He might not be able to. So anyway, get in touch with us, 513-399-KICK. Let's go to the Kings Hammer hotline. Let's welcome in Brandon to the show. Brandon, welcome to CST. How are you?
Hey there, guys. Pretty good.
So you were there at IMG, I believe, correct?
I was, yep, in the neighborhood, visiting my parents, and it just so happened that about 2 hours south at Bradenton, FC Cincinnati was, playing, so decided to make the trek down and take a look at the preseason soccer.
Very nice. So from what you saw, give us an overall, give us your overall thoughts on what you saw down there.
I honestly I was fairly impressed with a couple of the new guys, just the speed, I guess. So like, Darren Maddox in the second half, and then you had Powell in the first half that was, on the right wing, and just kind of the chances that they both created. I would say that probably was the most eye-opening. And honestly, I mean, both, other than the Ledesma free kick, those, when we're actually, running at people, that's kind of where the chances were actually created. So it was a kind of nice change up to see, going into MLS compared to, last season.
Yeah, Brandon, I remember last year I went to an LA Galaxy game just to kind of like introduce myself to this world of Major League Soccer because I was so used to the United Soccer League. And I watched LA play New York Red Bulls, and I just remember being like, oh, crap, we need to get a whole lot faster if we want to play in this league.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to hear that you see a little bit more speed because we have to have that speed down there. Ledesma, you mentioned his name. We knew we saw the clip of him taking that free kick. Has he lost a step since last season's USL game?
I don't know if he's necessarily lost a step. I mean, obviously the competition, that he's playing against is much better. I mean, you could obviously see that Ledesma was, much better than his competition. Now he's probably more even. I mean, he didn't really stand out. He didn't really, he wasn't the weak link either. But, with him and Adi up top, you kind of have the hold up guy and then, obviously Ledesma playing, beside him. But, I mean, he was fine. I mean, it wasn't, much memorable other than the free kick, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, he may have had a couple of, heel passes here and there, but he didn't look good, didn't look bad. I mean, I think with a little bit more time, with that competition, he might, find his stride, but I mean, it'll be exciting to see, if he's able to, put in a few goals, against MLS competition later in the year.
One of the things that we've been really questioning with the squad build is that we've had a lot of guys who have played, that 6 to 8 role. We're not really sure how the midfields come together. What have you seen, or what chemistry have you been seeing built in these two matches?
I didn't, I know there was a stream, but it was on the first one, but it was a little bit hard to see and make out players. And honestly, it was a little bit difficult to make out players, with them wearing their warm-ups and, not really having numbers. I mean, I would say, the defense looked, especially, it was mentioned before with Lasso and Nadam, like, they look pretty good, on the back. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, they, kind of shut down most of, their opportunities. Yeah, we, had one, hit the post and that type of stuff off a free kick, but they didn't really have any, standout chances until really, if I recall, like the 85th, 87th minute where they probably had a point blank, it got set up on, silver platter from about 15 yards out, and the guy just missed it wide right of the post. I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of, as far as a chance that they gave up, and that was, late in the game. And I think at that point, possibly some of the rookies were on the field as well. So, I mean, it looked pretty good defensively.
So you're involved with, and we have to give you the shout out, you're involved with the Cincinnati Discord channel. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is? I don't think we've ever had a Cincinnati Discord member call in, so I'm going to nab you while we've got you.
Very incorrect. That is very incorrect. There's a reason why I have the Discord scarf behind me. So that is very incorrect.
I apologize. I know it's your first time, so give us my
first time. Sure.
Yeah, give us a rundown.
About a year and a half ago, we decided, or I guess I technically decided, I was the one that created it actually. It would be kind of cool to, everybody kind of has their Slack channel and everything, but it was, more or less, each supporters group, and, there wasn't really much crossover and, that type of stuff. So we kind of did, quote unquote Slack or Discord, for those folks that, they could be in a supporters group or maybe not, but still gives them the opportunity to, talk to their, FC Cincinnati fans. And I think we're up to, close to 450 people. And, usually we're around, 75 to 85, actives at any one time. So, it's certainly fun, especially on game days. The chat's going very, very quickly. So, definitely worth checking out.
Well, good stuff, Brandon. Appreciate you calling in and giving us the lowdown on everything that happened at IMG last week.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, guys.
That's Brandon giving us a call on the Kings Hammer hotline, 513-399-KICK. If you were there in Florida, we'd love to hear from you, get your thoughts on what happened there at between the Montreal Impact and the Colorado Rapids. Looks like we've got our 4 for trivia, so that's fantastic. Thank you so much for calling. We're going to be playing that here in just a little bit. But before we can do that, it's that time of the show where we give a tremendous shout out and thanks to our wonderful supporters. And it's the first week of the month, which means we are going to announce every single supporter's name. So big shout out and thanks to King's Hammer and Tim Bronsel, Matt Adamchick, Mama Subes, Brian Malone, Jamie Smed, Mike Hudson, Jonas Tom, Jack Emery, Mike Bowman, Kathleen Francis, Jesse King, Teresa Everidge, Matt Imholt, and Matt Long. John Davidson, Patrick Lonnie, Dave Tangler, Alex Yursky, Claire Hughes, Carl Fight, Scott Griffith, Josh Lease, Kevin Johnston, Derek Smed, Greg Harrell, Jack Doyle, Doug Ross, James Denbo, the Cincy superfan Tom Grabo, Tim and Tina Harris, Chris Howard, Sarah Spriggs, Paul Hecker, Mike Winland, Mattis Brumbach, Courtney Rice, Scott Party, Joe Collier, Richard Rolson, Christina Sharma, Nate Hale, and a final slide here of our tremendous supporters, Brandon Jones, Adam Alexander, Chima John, Mike Berryman, Andy Rosen, Jeff Egan, Joseph Wells, Becky and Matt Ryan, Stephen Buckeridge, Gary Randolph, AJ Stork, Alec Mackey, Jamie Lay, Angela Cardwell, Anthony Zawoski, Scott Kaplan, Colin Rink, Jason DeBrewer, Robert Finley, Arthur Oliva, Scott Wilson, Stephen Haldeman, Wesley Jackson, Dave Dorsey, and last but certainly not least, Corey Finneran. So thank you so much for supporting us here at Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We really do appreciate it. To learn more about how you can join the supporters group of Cincinnati Soccer Talk and to learn more about joining our Growler Cup coming up this year, it's presented by Omni Printing and Promotions. That's right. The Growler Cup's gone big time, folks. For just donating at the $5 level every month, you get entered in the 2019 Growler Cup, which we will have details about the new format for this upcoming year coming up here very soon. But you're going to want to get involved. $5 a month gets you involved in the Growler Cup for 2019. And we cannot thank Omni Printing and Promotions enough for their support of CST. So again, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support is where you can learn more about that. So let's talk a little bit about FC Cincinnati making some national, I wouldn't say headlines over the weekend, but there was a certain player that had an impressive performance from FC Cincinnati over the weekend for Costa Rica, and that is midfielder Allan Cruz. Played really well for Costa Rica against the U.S. men's national team over the weekend. Brad, you ranted and raved about this guy and how good he looked for the Ticos. I mean, is it hard to contain your excitement now after what you saw?
I'm very bullish on it. I only watched the first 45 minutes of the match. But I mean, just being honest and objective, I have to think he was one of the best players, if not the best player on the field at that point in time. He did such a great job holding on to the ball, creating chances. They lined up, I think, on the sheet. It showed them as a 4-2-3-1. He was one of the two CDMs, but really, I think it evolved a lot of times into a 4-4-2, and that included him getting up the field and even up the wing a bit. Really showed a lot of his flexibility. So, I'm not going to steal all this stuff for Boston, but Alexi Lalas said he thought that FC Cincinnati was going to have one player that was going to kind of be a breakout star, and for my money right now, it's Allan Cruz.
I think a lot of people, and we saw the tweets over the weekend too, Boston, a lot of FC Cincinnati fans were just excited at the fact that they were hearing FC Cincinnati player during the national broadcast between Costa Rica and the U.S. men's national team. Pretty cool.
Dude, I was one of those people. Like when he said FC Cincinnati's Allan Cruz, I was like, yeah, wait, we just got used in a plural. Like, how it gave me chills, man. Like, oh man, can you imagine a USL club, FC Cincinnati getting I don't know. Like I never thought I'd see this. And so in 4 years, I guess now it's just blown my mind. And that I watched that game torn between cheering for Allan Cruz and my own country. Like that's how hyped I was on Cruz. And so I do think he's going to be a great player for the Orange and Blue. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to work him in. I do think that's who Alexi Lalas was talking about when he said a breakout player. He also said FC Cincinnati would miss the playoffs. So screw you, Lalas. You made it so far, and then you just lost it all.
I mean, I hit on it before. definitely he was more of an 8 than a 6, and he's going to provide this team with a lot of different possibilities. Even with this being the off season, I think he went to this match. He flew cross country. I want to say the day before, so he didn't have much time with these guys. But you could just see his quality, his movement in tight spaces. Even when they were tight spaces, he was so calm on the ball. And his passing was really what stood out to me, where, last year we didn't necessarily have somebody from deep in the midfield that could pick out a pass and free up Audie. I think Allan Cruz is definitely one of those guys now that I think is going to open up and create some flexibility, allowing Audie to run on the ball, or maybe he hits it up to Lamar, allows Audie to drop back and the ball's played back to Audie. So definitely a lot of possibilities out there, and it frees up the club a little bit. If we don't have a number 10 going into this season, maybe we play with Bertoni and as Cruz is maybe dual 8s, and have Caleb Stanko or Victor Oyua back there as that defensive-minded 6, and that just kind of allows this team to pick and choose their moments to get forward, and allow us to bridge that gap till we can bring in your quote-unquote number 10 in the summer.
Eric in the chat room on Facebook, Eric Ritzman, says Cruz looked like he got a little roughed up. Hope he is healthy for the season. Any thoughts on that, Brad?
Yeah, I think in a player in his position, he's going to take some knocks. I think Allan mentioned that in his press conference today about how it made him a little bit nervous. I think that's playing the Americans too. They saw he was quality and he was taking the ball off of our players. If you talk about, the US's are, and it's what I would have done. I would have bodied him up a little bit. I think that's going to be something that he's going to learn in Major League Soccer that he may or may not be used to, even though he played in some tough leagues down in Central America. But it's something he'll learn, he'll adjust to. And we'll see how he learns. And you know what? That's why I think FC Cincinnati brought in so much depth, that if he does have to take a knock, Allan's confident that he can plug a player in right behind him.
I think it's also too very clear that this guy's going to be missing for a few weeks this summer.
Yeah,
he's going to be playing in the Gold Cup with Costa Rica. There's no question about that. So I'd love to get your thoughts. If you watched the U.S. men's national team against Costa Rica over the weekend, and you were enamored with the play of Allan Cruz, get in touch with us. Feedback at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. All right, before we get into the trivia, we did get this tweet. And don't forget, coming up after the show, we will have CST Extra Time. That's a chance for us to kind of lay back, let loose a little bit, and answer your questions. But this tweet comes from Rob Burkhart. He says, assuming that you are going to the home opener on the 17th, will this be the biggest significant sporting event you have ever attended? Brad, I know you are Mr. OSU, so I'm sure you went to some pretty big Ohio State games. Is this going to be your biggest sporting event you've been to?
Yeah, that'd be a negative Ghost Rider. My sophomore year of college, Ohio State was number 1, and the other team up north was number 2. The only time that's happened. So that is an all-time sporting moment for me. Also, I was down at the Ryder Cup in Valhalla, and that was absolutely incredible. One of the few times the U.S. has won over the years.
I believe you also missed the home opener for FC Cincinnati because you were in Augusta.
Stop it. Yep. Dude, you just put a big match down here, and I missed it. I missed the home opener. I missed the first international friendly. I missed one. I missed a bunch of. No, I didn't miss that game. No. If my wife was pregnant and having a baby, I would have been to that one.
Hey, we have it on record. We have audio recording of it.
I'll tell you another good one I was at, even though it didn't turn out to be well, is I was at the 2015 MLS Cup.
All right. So you've been to some pretty big ones. Yeah, and this is a regular season home opener. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be big, but clearly there's been bigger. Boston, I know you're a big Packers fan. I'm pretty sure you've been to Lambeau, right?
Yeah, a couple times. But I've never been in Lambeau for, like, the game. You know what I mean? Like, the playoff winning game or anything. I've just been to and granted, that stadium is amazing and full of history, and I've always enjoyed my times there. I don't know. It's one of those things I'm going to have to go back to. I'm going to have to answer this question after I've experienced it. Will this mean more to me because of my love for this city and this team? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I haven't been to as many big moments as Brad. And Brian took me to U.S. Mexico game once and promised it would be one of the best games of my life. And then the United States dropped the ball for the first time.
So wait. You show up for your first U.S. Mexico game, and they promptly lose when they never lost in Columbus. I blame.
Yeah. No, I don't blame loss in Columbus.
I don't blame him. I blame the U.S. Soccer and everybody. And they had a picture of everybody hugging at the half line before the damn match even started. That's bullcrap. They're our biggest rival. I know there's issues going on. Trust me, I fully support what they're talking about. But this is our biggest rival. You won't see Germany going up and hugging Spain or France before a big World Cup qualifying match. Why the hell should we? That just like took the oxygen out of the entire stadium. So I don't blame that on Boston. Getting fiery again.
Yeah, we love
talk about Spurs. Let's talk about Spurs, Subes.
No, for me, biggest sporting event I've been to. I went to Game 5 of the Giants-Reds playoff series when Matt Latos got to start, and Buster Posey's home run is still traveling. I'm trying to think. One cool thing that I did when I was in college, back when Huggs was still the head coach at UC, they played in the conference championship game at that was then Riverfront Coliseum against Marquette, Dwayne Wade's Marquette, and they beat Marquette for the Conference USA championship that day, and also sealed their 1 seed in the tournament. Tournament. And then so that night I then drove up to what was then the Gund Arena in Cleveland to watch my Bowling Green Falcons lose to Antonio Gates' Kent State Golden Flashes. So that was kind of a cool day. I got to see 2 conference championship basketball games in the same day. Not a lot of people can say that. Nothing?
Solid. I was at Xavier's conference title when they went up at Dayton. That was the year that they beat St. Joe's and they're number 1.
Mama Subes is chiming in. Yes, my dad was at the Freezer Bowl when the Bengals played the Chargers. So,
nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for that, Mom. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Your father just one-upped you.
Yes, he did. Many times. It's not the last time that will happen. So, but thank you for the tweet, Rob. We certainly appreciate it. If you want to send us your tweets, what are you waiting for? Hit us up on Twitter at Cincy Soccer Talk. Boston's kind of our social media guru extraordinaire, although we've got to get him going on Instagram. I don't know what the hesitation is there. Yeah, we're going to make it happen, though. But again, hit us up on Twitter at Cincy Soccer Talk. You can follow us on Instagram there as well at Cincy Soccer Talk. All right, so as we promised before the show, we are not at the beginning of the show, I should say, not before the show. We're playing a little CST trivia tonight. So we've got 4 callers on the line. Brad kind of thought this one up. He's kind of the brainchild of this. So, Brad, you lead the way. You tell me how you want this to go, and I'll get the right guys on the phone.
Okay. Well, the rules are going to be, we're going to do, we got 4 callers. We're going to do head-to-head here. We're going to have 2 semifinals and a final. The 2 semifinals will be best of 5 questions. These could be related to FC Cincinnati history or about current FC Cincinnati players. So we'll do 2 semis, 2 finals. So you just let me know the first 2 guys you got up, have them introduce themselves, and we can get going.
All right, so I've got on the line here. I'll start first with Arthur, who's been waiting on hold the longest. Arthur, welcome to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. I'm calling from the enemy territory of Columbus right now, so wish me luck.
Fantastic. Nice. And then, so you want me to introduce the other guy, Brad?
Sure.
Okay. Now, are they going to be competing at the same time, trying to answer the same question, or is it best of 5?
Best of 5. So you're going to have to. What should be our buzzer sound, Subes? Should we have a wolf call?
A wolf call. Sure. So if they howl like a wolf,
do this. Say your name.
Okay.
How about that? Just so I know who's who.
Okay. So if they want to answer the question, they have to say their name first.
Yes.
We then go to them, and then okay. All right.
Yes.
So let's also welcome in to the show Andy Andy, welcome to CST. How are you?
Hey, Subs. Good. And yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for chiming in tonight and participating. So this is our first semifinal. It's the best of 5. Brad's going to ask a question, or am I asking the question?
Now, I'll ask the question. If neither one of you can get the answer, or if neither one of you know, I'll give a hint, and then we'll keep going. Now, if one person gets it wrong with their question, the other person gets a chance to answer first. If that person cannot get a chance to answer, I will give a hint, and they can both go again. Okay? Sound good, Arthur and Andy?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. So the key to the game, gentlemen, is if you know the answer, say your name. And so the first person's name we hear, we'll make a judgment call, and we'll let you answer. Sound
Boston.
good? Shut up, Boston.
Sorry, I don't get a howl like a wolf then.
Right. Nope. Say your name.
And I
Maybe
don't
we'll
say
get it.
Arthur. I say
Well, maybe-
Andy, though.
Right. Now, maybe we'll get a little creative for the next round.
All right.
All right. I've made
All right.
2. Here we go. I've made 2 appearances for the U.S. men's national team, both in January camps.
Andy.
Go ahead, Andy.
Greg Garza.
No.
Oh.
What?
Two total appearances. 2 total.
Arthur.
Straight up thought it was
Eric Alexander.
Correct.
Ding, 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 ding. That's why I need the buzzer sound.
Well,
Very
All
cool.
right.
nice job, Arthur.
So Arthur's got 1. The score is
Thank you,
Arthur
Andy.
1, Andy 0.
Yep. Question 2. In the U.S. Open Cup match against the Chicago Fire, who was the only player to score a penalty for Chicago?
Andy.
Arthur.
Oh, Andy's in first.
The man with
Oh,
the greatest name in soccer, Bastian Schweinsteiger.
Correct.
All right, so it's 1-1. Andy with 1, Arthur with 1.
Okay. Question 3. Which FC Cincinnati player has appeared in the most matches in club history?
Andy.
Arthur.
Andy.
Yeah, I heard Andy first. Go ahead, Andy.
Dang.
Corbin Boone.
Incorrect.
What?
Arthur. Well, then it has to be Jimmy McLaughlin.
Yeah.
No.
That's what
No?
our guy
Really?
put here. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna look this up. real
No.
quick.
Wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Hold on.
Yeah, we need a
Jacob Clary, intern, has got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Hold on. Here we
I
go.
honestly thought Andy was correct there too.
Yeah. Hold on.
who got the jersey first?
Dude, I don't know. Oh, hold on. Here we go. This is such a fail. Jacob's on probation. Jacob is definitely on probation.
What if he's right? What if he's right and we all just like refuse to believe it?
I thought
Yeah.
I
this
thought
is
it was
So,
Here
what was
we
the right
go.
answer? The correct answer?
we're
We're-
I was
efforting.
told-
You're verifying.
I was told
Had
Block-
Andy Walker
hold
then.
on.
Researchers on it.
We're
Yeah, this
efforting.
is such a fail.
I'm pretty sure. I thought it was McLaughlin got it first, and then Bone got it next.
Yeah, so Bones got 102, and Jimmy McLaughlin has, now this is according to Wikipedia.
Now, are we including the playoff game? Because Jimmy might not have got in either one of those playoff games.
That's right. That's
Are
what
we
I was
including-
Wait, what was
Are
the
we-
what was the question?
It doesn't even
including,
seem right.
Are we including Open Cup games though?
Yes.
Oh my word!
How about
Hold on.
friendlies?
Oh,
All right. We're gonna move on.
We're gonna
okay?
throw
Just
that one
cancel
out.
That one, okay? We're just gonna cancel that one out. Jacob Clary, you're banned. All right.
Ken
I would-
Headker should be making these
Yeah.
questions like that.
Yep. See, this is what happens when you let other people do your job, Subes.
This is what happens when we ask an intern at 6:30 when he has a 7:00 class to make.
All right. All right. Here we go. Question 3. In the Euro 2012, I was called in to face a PK in my country's opening match after a red card to the starting keeper. I then saved the penalty kick.
Arthur.
Andy.
It was Arthur. I heard Arthur. Go ahead, Art.
TT. It was TT.
Yeah.
Or Teton. I'm still learning how to pronounce his
Correct.
name.
All right.
Correct.
So that was question 3.
Yep.
Arthur has a 2-1 advantage over Andy at the moment.
Yep.
Am I on here? Am I on? Hello?
All right. Question 4.
So basically, hang on before you ask this question, Brad.
Go ahead.
I believe Andy has to get this question.
Andy's got to get it right.
All right. Go ahead, Brad.
I was a member of the Arsenal Invincibles and made 69 appearances for that club.
Andy.
Andy.
Andy got in there first.
Andy, go ahead.
He's I believe he's always open.
That's the correct answer.
Correct.
Well done. So 2-2 into the final. It all comes down to the last question.
So is this phone thing? That's not even like an eighth of a point or nothing. That's just like barely.
Yeah.
Hey, is this thing on?
Hey, just so you know, everyone in Facebook is literally fighting about the answer too, so no one really knows.
Yeah. The ties. It's 2.5 to 2.5.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
This is
Still
going.
need three.
This is going to be a alternating question, and it's going to be who can name the most. In FC Cincinnati 2018 playoff match against Nashville SC, the match went into penalty kicks. Name a player who took a kick and made it.
Arthur.
Go ahead, Arthur.
Justin Hoyt.
Correct.
What? Man.
All right.
You're right.
So does Andy gets a chance now, right?
I'll take
Yes.
the easy one. Walker.
Correct.
All right.
All right. Arthur, go ahead.
Oh, crap. Oh, the two I knew. I'm going to say Lasso.
Correct.
Oh, nice.
Andy.
Ooh. How about Ledesma?
No, he was
And-
subbed out.
Incorrect. He was subbed
He
out.
was subbed out. I remember because I was like, why did we do that?
The other three answers are Fernando Adi, Jimmy McLaughlin, and Blake
Yeah.
Smith. So Arthur is our big winner.
Yeah. Congrats,
Nice.
Arthur.
Arthur, congratulations, but I do want to know that, hey, Subs, this is under protest. I'm going to talk to your mom.
All right. Well, fair enough.
Andy, take it up to the USSF.
All right. So
Right?
Arthur's moving on, correct, Brad?
Andy, it was
Arthur's
good
moving
win. It was a good
I'm
win.
going back to my video game and listen in. Thanks, guys.
See ya, Andy. So Art, we're gonna put you back in the queue. You stay on the line, all right, buddy? All right. So we've got Art on still on hold. We're gonna go ahead and drop Andy here, let him get back to his video games. Let's also welcome in our new contestants to the show. First, let's go with Jim. Welcome to Cincinnati Soccer Talk, Jim. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing very well. How about you,
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Jim? Where are you calling from?
Right around UC.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, nice. Thanks for waiting on hold forever while Soups just kept running the show on and on and on and on.
Yeah. Oh, we appreciate you.
No problem. Pleasure to be on.
We appreciate you holding. Jim is going to be going up against, believe it or not, another Brad. Let's welcome in Brad to the show. Brad, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. I am also calling in from right around UC, just blocks away from historic Nippert Stadium.
Oh, fantastic.
Nice.
All right. So we've got a campus battle here, Brad. I guess I should say Brad Weigel. Brad, go on with our first off, Jim and Brad, do you understand the rules? You know how this all works now?
Yeah, so with Brad reading the questions, do you want to do like one of us is blue and the other one is orange? Or something? I don't know. I think this might get confusing.
All right, Jim, you're orange. Brad, you're blue.
Oh, now I'm gonna be.
All right.
Do not.
I need to write this down.
I got it down already, Soups. All right, here we go. Question 1. I was a member of the 2015-16 Bundesliga 2 championship squad.
Orange.
Go ahead, Jim.
This one might be a little bit of a guess. I'm going to say Caleb Stanko.
Correct. Great
Wow,
answer.
nice pull.
Caleb
Nice.
Stanko won it with Freiburg and then was loaned to the Swiss Super League. All right. Question 2. Everyone remembers the first home goal scored, but who scored the first away goal?
Blue.
Go ahead, Brad.
Oh, I know exactly. So I can't remember the order. I'm going to say Sean Coley.
Oh,
Ooh, he was the first home goal.
It's home.
No.
Jim,
Okay. Yeah.
you get a free guess, Jim.
Ooh, not sure. I'm just going to say McLaughlin because I have no idea.
Close.
Preseason count?
Close.
so
Can I get a second guess?
Who's that? Who's speaking?
This is
Or-
Blue.
All right, Brad, you got it. This was against the hint was
Wiedemann.
against Pennsville. Yep, that's correct.
It was against Bethlehem Steel
Yep,
and
that
the
was
second
it.
week of the 2016 season.
Shoo.
I was going to say the biggest clue that I could give is he was just recently on the podcast.
Yep. All right, question 3. In 2018, my team won the CONCACAF League to qualify for the CONCACAF Champions League and the Costa Rican League Championship. Who am I?
Blue.
Orange.
I heard Blue
Brad.
first.
Brad.
Allan Cruz.
Correct.
All right,
All
so
right.
just to check the score here, it's 2-1 to Brad. Correct, Brad?
That is correct. Now, this one I know
Our
to
Brads.
be true, so thank goodness. Which FC Cincinnati player has scored the most goals in team history?
Blue.
For the win, Brad.
The King. The copper from Copenhagen, Danny Koenig.
That is
well
correct.
done.
Oh, smoking.
Have a champion. All right, here we go. So we're going to go to the finals here, Subs.
First of all,
You host now. I'll give it back to you.
thank you very much. I appreciate it. Jim, appreciate the call. Thanks for playing with us tonight. Sorry your luck ran out tonight.
Thanks for having me on.
So now we've got, let's see here. It's going to be Brad versus Arthur here in the final. Let's bring Arthur back into the show. Arthur, can you hear us? You still there?
I still am.
All
So
right.
am I orange now? Is that how it's gonna work?
Sure, why not? Can you
I
handle
think-
I
that?
think it's an honor.
I think Arthur needs to be always and Brad needs to be open. All right, always versus open.
So
All
is
right,
this
we
the
got
best of 5 again?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
this
really
is
what we're
not.
going with? Okay. Oh, that's fine.
This is not a best of 5. This is most points that you can get. So I have
boy.
three questions, and they each have multiple answers. What you will do is you will answer the first person who says their key phrase. They will get one guess, and then it will alternate back and forth until we do not have any more answers. The most points, the most players you can identify here will win. If we have a tie, I do have a tie-breaking question. Okay. Question 1. Who have won the MLS Cup on the current FC Cincinnati squad?
Open.
All right, Brad, go ahead. You get to pick one.
Fernando Adi.
That is
Fernando
correct.
Adi, Portland Timbers 2015.
That is correct. Arthur.
Kenny Walker.
Ooh, actually, that is correct. I didn't have that one in there. He went with the LA Galaxy. All right, Brad, go ahead.
Do I get bonus points for that?
Yeah,
Okay, Greg Garza, Atlanta United 2018.
that is correct. Arthur.
I would say Eric Alexander, just because he's been in the league for forever.
He is not.
He never won one, really? I'm surprised
Yeah.
by that.
He has won the support. He was won the Supporter Shield. He's done a lot, but he has not won MLS Cup. All right, Brad, can you get any others? Rack up some points here.
Is this current and former roster or just
Just-
current roster?
I'm so
Sorry?
stupid. Kenny Walker's not even on the team. Oh my God, I need to do a better job.
Oh,
at this
wow.
deal.
Oh,
So do I.
We're keeping it. We're keeping it. So I'll give you that point. But go ahead, Brad. Do you have any other?
No. So So is it current? Is it current roster only?
Yeah, we're sticking with current roster only.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with Alvis Powell for the Portland Timbers in 2016.
That would be
Well
Alvis
done.
Powell in 2015.
Well done.
Yes, I'll give you that one.
That works.
15. Sorry.
All right, and one more if you can get them.
My turn. Dang, really have no idea. People who were in the league before. Oh, Nick Hagland.
Well
there you go.
done.
That's it. All right. So
Who
we got
was that? Was that Arthur?
That was always.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Arthur. Okay. All right. So we got 3-2. All right. This one. Which current FC Cincinnati players have over 10 caps for their national team?
I'll go with always.
All right, Arthur, you're up.
That,
Oh, I'm sorry. I said
that's actually Brad, but I'll take it. I mean,
he can take it. Yeah,
Brad, you're open.
He can take it. Yeah.
All right, so Brad's up.
10 caps.
Who's
Brad? Okay,
10
sorry.
This is Brad, right?
Yeah, this is Brad right now.
Okay, you go ahead. 10 caps. You go first.
I'm gonna say Darren Maddox for Jamaica.
Correct. Arthur.
Did we lose Arthur? Are
Hello?
you still there?
Oh, Arthur, you up?
No, I'm still there.
Okay, go ahead. You're up.
I think I am. Sorry. I think I missed on you guys for a sec. Let's see, 10 caps. Watson.
That is correct. He scored 30, or he's made 30 appearances with Costa Rica. Scored a goal in the last World Cup for him, too. All right, Brad, you're up.
So wait, was my first one correct or not?
Yeah, Darren Maddox.
For a few seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, you're both
First one was
correct.
You both have one in this
Both
round.
correct. So we got Darren Maddox and Kendall Waston.
Okay, and this is 10 caps or more for their national team. Let me see. I'm going to go with Allan Cruz again.
Ooh.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
He made 6. All right, Arthur, go ahead.
Current roster. I'll go with Teton.
That is correct. He's got 14. Brad, you're up.
Let's see here. Let me say. I know Greg Garza's played for the U.S. national team, but I don't know how many times. So I'll guess him.
10 times, 10 appearances.
Dang.
Yep, so that's correct.
Tagging correct. The best type of correct.
All right, so it's Arthur's turn now, correct? Got 2 more.
Oh, wow. 2 more?
Yep.
Wow. I'll go with Welshman.
Ooh.
Incorrect. He's got 8. All right, Brad.
I feel so dumb right now.
There's one that's pretty obvious when
I
I say it, but then there's one that you would be shocked he's got this many. These are current players. All right, so you each get one more turn. All right, Brad, go
Let's
ahead.
get one more turn, and there's 2 players left.
Correct.
Yep. So if you don't get it here, I'll say the answers. So Brad, you're up, and then Arthur.
I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna guess for a weird reason. I know they announced Justin Hoyt as being from England, but I'm pretty sure he played for Trinidad and Tobago.
18
Nice
appearances.
pull.
Justin Hoyt, correct. Arthur, one more.
Are we counting youth appearances too? Or is it just senior national team?
It's just seniors.
Well, dang. I know. I'm going to be thinking out loud here. I know Nazmi just joined Palestine, but he's the only guy I can think of on the roster who would be in there. So I'm just gonna go with Nazmi.
That is incorrect. Alvis Powell for Jamaica. He's got 35.
Whoa.
And then
It's a crap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's called up every time. So, yeah, he's got a hell of a job down there at Jamaica. All right, final question. Here we go.
What's the score, Brad? Give us a score
Brad is
update.
up 6-4. Brad's up 6-4 here. All right. These current players from FC Cincinnati have appeared in a UEFA Champions League match.
Open.
Arthur.
I would go
Always.
with.
Well,
I heard Brad first, yeah.
Wait. Was that Brad?
I heard Open and I heard Arthur.
Open was Brad. So
I'm going to say Leonardo Bertoni for Young Boys.
correct.
And I believe that was a game where they beat Cristiano Ronaldo's Juventus.
Yeah, he actually played against Juve twice in 2018. He played 90 minutes on October 2nd, and he played, I want to say it's 8 or 10 minutes in their 2-1 win over Juventus on December 12th, 2018, right before he joined FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, he was scared to play against United in those Champions League games.
Whatever, get out of here. All right, Brad, so you're the winner, but we're going to have Arthur see if he can get there's 2 other players, Arthur. Let's see how close you can get.
Hoyt and Teton.
Incorrect. You've got, or Brad, you got any ideas who you've have?
So was it neither Hoyt nor Teton?
Not Teton.
I'll just throw out, just because I know my friends at KLR love him, Mathieu Deplain.
That is correct.
Yeah, I just love
One match in 2012 for Montpellier.
What the heck?
Yep. And then there's one that you'd be really shocked. He happens to be our designated player. He's made 3 appearances.
Really?
Yeah. 3 appearances in Champions League. And Justin Hoyt, actually, you're right. Justin Hoyt has made 7 appearances in Champions League, 11 if you include the qualifying matches. So, yes, Justin Hoyt as well. So I had 4. So sorry there.
So what's our score, Brad?
So we've got, Brad wins with 7. So 7-5.
Oh, congratulations, Brad. Well done. That was the gauntlet right there of FCC trivia.
Yeah, congrats, Brad. Like a true Cincinnati fan, I will lose in the playoffs.
And like a true Cincinnati fan, I don't know how to respond to winning something major. So there you go.
All right. Well, Arthur, we appreciate you staying on hold. You were on hold the longest. We appreciate you being on, and hopefully you had fun.
I really did, Steve. Thanks for having me on. Always love being on.
And Brad, we're going to put you back on hold, and Rob's going to get your information, and we're going to try and find out, see if we can get you something. All right, Brad? Congrats on winning.
Up.
Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, love the show.
And
thanks, Brad.
Well, thanks for the kind words. We appreciate it. All right, so that was fun, Brad. You did a really good job. Although we got on Jacob a little bit, maybe a little bit unfairly, but
hey, I missed the Hoyt one here. I didn't even think to look him up. That's what happens when I guess you got an Arsenal guy around here. So
I've literally spent this entire trivia show trying to find the answer to the start question, which should be so simple, but the USL site deleted everything.
Yeah,
they just tossed all their stats out the window.
All right, I got one for you, Boston. This will be quick. This player won the 2013 English League Cup with Swansea City. If you need a hint, let me know.
And he plays for us now?
He plays for us now. Won the 2013 English League Cup with Swansea.
I don't know.
Here's a hint. He's played in some of the best leagues in the world, including the Premier League, Ligue 1, and La Liga. He won the 2006-2007 Belgian League with Anderlecht.
You gotta tell me something that happened in the last couple years.
He was acquired in the 2018 MLS expansion draft.
Oh, I know it.
I'll give it to
Go ahead, Subes.
I've only got a 1 in 5 chance.
Go ahead,
here.
Subes.
That would be Roland Lamar.
Roland Lamar.
Kia Kamara.
Kai Kamara.
Oh man. Oh, that was
player
fun.
for 10 minutes.
That was a good time, and of course we are kidding, Jacob. So relax. You did just fine with your questions. We appreciate it. We don't want to scare off our intern 1 week into his new gig with us. So thank you for all four, Andy, Jim, Arthur, and Brad, for sticking around and being on hold and participating in this. If you enjoyed our little trivia segment here tonight, let us know. We might, if we get good feedback about this, we might do this a little bit more often. So, again, feedback at CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com is how you can get in touch with us. All right. We've got extra time coming up after the show here in just a minute. But, of course, we want to remind you that each and every Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, we are live with Cincinnati Soccer Talk right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So, again, tune in live. But if you can't make the live show at 9 o'clock, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast. You can get all of our audio on demand wherever podcasts can be found. All right, final thoughts. Boston, razzle, dazzle, brazzle. Appreciate you being on the show this week, buddy, as always.
Oh, yeah, it's always a blast. Besides that dumb trivia game, in which I didn't know anything to. It's thank you for not making me play and letting our awesome fans take charge there. Hey, I wanted to let you guys know about, and then, I mean, this really just popped up the last couple of days. There is a supporter. What's the word I'm looking for? No, I don't know if it's necessarily a council, but kind of a get together, and it's coming up here next.
I thought it was the 16th.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's the 16th. And so, I think everybody's going to get together, play some soccer, and it's at Tri-County Sportsplex, and just kind of talk about what's coming up here this next year. And it doesn't matter if you're Pride, DI, Mafia, and Legion, or I guess the Bridge now. War Pigs, a made-up supporter group, anything that you are, you could come and hang out here and have a good time and just kind of talk about plans for the season. And I think there's going to be a lot of things that need to go into this next year. A lot of people that help out, a lot of people that paint, and we just got to get bigger and better. And this is kind of a cool first step for everybody to get together. And it doesn't matter your background or anything. They said you don't even have to be in a supporter group, but just come out here on the February 16th at the Tri-County Sportsplex and hang out and talk soccer.
Good stuff, Boston, as always. Appreciate it, buddy.
No probs.
All right. Final thoughts from Brad Weigel. Brad, thanks again for putting the show together as far as the trivia questions tonight. Really do appreciate you doing that.
No, it's a good time. It's fun. It's always something. I know we've done the Wikipedia game and we've got this, so we'll keep trying to do different stuff to involve everybody and keep it entertaining. But on a kind of going from a happy to kind of a sad note, some of you who have listened to this show, listened to March to Match Day, know that we've had a nice relationship with the Total Soccer Show guys. And one of recently, one of the hosts, Darrell Grove, who, like I said, been on the show, been on March to Match Day, him and Taylor, they are also the broadcast team for the Richmond Kickers TV. And Darrell was on a work trip down to Orlando a couple weeks ago, was hospitalized, coming to find out that he has stage 4, I want to say colon cancer, and it's spread to his kidneys. And so he's going to be having surgery here coming up, and he's going to have to go through chemotherapy. But why this is kind of really touches is that Darrell was one of the first guys out there. He started Total Soccer Show, and he really wanted to make this kind of a self-sustaining site. So they do written content, they do shows. They've made it enough where they are able to kind of make this their livelihood. So he doesn't make a ton of money, but he does a great job putting content out there, especially during the World Cups and big other tournaments. They do daily shows, etc. And with him doing this, he doesn't have a lot of money. So there's a huge GoFundMe out there to help him get through this tough time. And, in just 4 days, they've raised almost $80,000 for him already. So it's just a great, I'm just so happy to see the soccer community wrap their arms around Darrell and his wife during this tough time. Because, with all that he's going to go through, there's going to be, some ups and downs. And I'm just so glad that people can help, especially, he's done so much for a lot of us. So it's good to go back. So I think we'll put something in the show notes. If you got a couple dollars, please go ahead and help Darrell out. He's done such a great job putting out free content for us. And, maybe it's our time where, we throw some dollars back at him just for all of his hard work that he can help get through this tough time and come back on the other side of things stronger than ever. So just prayers are for you, Darrell, and your wife and your family. And, I know the whole FC Cincinnati community stands behind you.
Well said, Brad. And really impressed with not only Darrell. I mean, I'll tell you what, from a podcasting perspective, he's one of the good guys in podcasting, and you hate to see stuff like this happen. And so when you see, when the original GoFundMe came out, we were all kind of in shock to find out this diagnosis for Darrell. And then, 24 hours later, I think another version of shock set in when we saw how much money was raised in just such a short amount of time. That to me was really impressive. It also just goes to show you the kind of community that they've built there around the Total Soccer Show and soccer in general. So, Darrell, I echo Brad's sentiments. We wish you nothing but the best. Lots of prayers sending your way here from us here in Cincinnati. We hope you get well soon, and hopefully things all turn out for the best. So for me, my final thought, and I don't know if you've been paying attention to soccer social media today, but looks like there's a couple cities vying for some Major League Soccer expansion. So that train's going to get fired up here real soon. More Major League Soccer expansion talk. And by gosh, is it just so nice that Cincinnati doesn't have to worry about this anymore. So you see towns like St. Louis, San Diego, Sacramento. This thing's starting to ramp up, gents. Before you know, we might have a couple more teams in Major League Soccer. So just something to keep an eye on. That's my final thought for this week. Again, my thanks to Brad Weigel and Boston Razzle Dazzle Brazzle for being on the show this week. I'm Subes, reminding you to watch your tackles. We've got CST Extra Time coming up next. Watch your tackles. We'll see you all next week. Hey, we're back. CST Extra Time. This is Brad's chance to let loose. Let's see if Brad's he grabs the mic. He gets all relaxed. He's gonna put his feet up on his desk. We're just gonna lay back and chill. You feeling good there, Brad?
Ugh, if I'd be better, I'd be you, Subes.
Man, if I did that,
I need to fix my
tape,
let me fix my
all my
camera.
stuff would fall apart.
Let me fix my camera. Just there you go. Oh yeah. Can you see this pretty face?
Oh, we can see it. We can see everything.
I don't even have a good drink this week, though. That sucks.
Well. Oh.
Yeah, my wife decided that we should go to IKEA after dinner today. So that cut into some of my prep time. And I swear to God, Satan himself created that store. Not only is it filled with absolute crap, like the worst quality crap you could buy, but then this maze, you can't even find the way out of that store. I never doing it again. We went in there for a closet organization. You know what? There's not many things in this world better organized than my damn closet already. And we went for closet organization.
Has somebody been watching Marie Kondo on Netflix?
Is it Marie Kondo? What's the fix it? I don't know. Is that new thing on there where it's like fix it? It's like 45 minute or 20. I don't know. She keeps trying. She's like, let's watch that. And I'm like, pfft, I'd rather watch the 70s documentary.
All right. I'm sorry you had a rough time at IKEA. They make it that way for a reason, to keep you in the store.
Yeah, it's a maze.
And so she makes me go through this whole thing, and then is like, she already knows I'm pissed off. And then she goes, as soon as we get to the end, because we didn't even buy a damn thing. That's the worst part. I had to do all that walking. We didn't even buy a thing. And then as we go out, we're about to leave the store, she goes, can I get an ice cream?
Well, yeah, you worked all those calories off, so deserve a treat.
What does she want from me?
She just want, yeah. I'm going to quickly move on. And, all right, let's get to the first tweet of today's Extra Time. Oh, another Super Bowl tweet. This is from our pal, Jeff Tebbets. Still celebrating my Patriots win last night, so a fitting CST Extra Time question. If FCC won the MLS Cup, where would your parade route go through? Any ideas there, Boston?
He probably needs Google Maps to figure that out.
Oh, come on. I live downtown. This is my life. I honestly think maybe something similar to Bachfest, but don't go all the way out past Liberty. I would do the whole 4th Street, go up to 6th where you hit Fountain Square. You have to make a round to 12th where, Ryan House is, and the soccer bar of the city, and then maybe back. It's just got to create your own soccer loop. I feel like maximize the full potential here. But I think the city would celebrate. It's been a long time since anything happens. Every year we throw a parade for the Reds to start the season and suck. So it would be nice to throw a parade where somebody actually wins something at the end of the season for once.
I think, depending on when it happens, if this, I think the end of the parade should end at the stadium with a packed stadium there, right? I think that's where it should end. Bring all the players out to have a little celebration victory lap. I think it should end at the stadium, whether it be Nippert, which that would be a miracle if that were to happen, or there at the West End Stadium.
Yeah, start and end at the Clifton Skyline. Coney's for everybody.
Oh, Clifton Skyline. There's a skyline downtown.
I should have said the Gleyer's Geta Factory, but I think we talk a little more about Skyline on this podcast.
All right. Well, Jeff, congrats on your Super Bowl win. I know you were very involved in that. Hey, speaking of, we just spoke with Art, I believe. This is from Arthur Oliva. If Lindner and company start an NWSL team, do you think they would be successful? Bonus question: what should they be named? I have my thoughts on this.
Go ahead there, big guy.
I would like, so the way I look at it, FC Cincinnati is a club, right? So you're going to have, at some point, you're going to have the U18s. You're going to have the U21s, the U23s. They're going to be FC Cincinnati. So if we have a women's team, I really genuinely believe they should be FC Cincinnati's women's team. I don't think you need to rebrand them and make them their own team like the Portland Thorns. I think they're part of FC Cincinnati. They are part of the club. So that would be my take. I think they should be FC Cincinnati as well.
I wonder if MLS will let them use that name in NWSL. Because, I mean, we see that they won't let the, specific loans happen. So no idea. But
it's possible copyright issue because Major League Soccer does own the copyright. But
yeah, that would be the absolute worst. I totally agree with you, Nick, though, that it should be FC Cincinnati. Will they be a success? What's a success?
Just having a team in Cincinnati.
Will they win? Well, I hope so. I think that Carl Lindner and Jeff Birding wouldn't spend money unless they thought they were going to wouldn't be successful. What does attendance look like? Man, I don't know. But I have, you guys asked that question earlier on the show. Have we ever been? What would this first home opener? Would this be the biggest sporting event? I didn't even think about it. But that women's national team match we had at Nippert a couple years back, that was one of the craziest atmospheres, most electric atmospheres that I've ever been in. So I have a feeling. I mean, that's what this country's going to. That's what this nation's going to. We've got a huge following for professional women athletes in this sport, and I think that it wouldn't shock me that FC Cincinnati would come out strong in attendance numbers, just like we did when we sold out Nippert for that match.
Yeah.
Shout out! We do have a women's team for anyone wanting to watch women's soccer. It's not NWSL, but it is the next best thing. WPSL and it Cincinnati Sirens. They play up at Lakota East, and I've been to a game. Totally check out a game. I hope to go to another one or several this season, and I encourage everyone who is into women's soccer or who wants to get into women's soccer. It's right here. It's local. Columbus supports the Eagles. The Columbus Crew fans support the Eagles. Same division, same rivals. Supports Cincinnati Sirens.
The FC Cincinnati jumped right on board right off the bat with the Women's Development Academy, and we've shown that we can pump out some wonderful, highly talented professional women's soccer players in this area, like Rose Lavelle. So, if they have some sort of homegrown rules, I don't know enough about the NWSL.
Yeah.
I would think that we could jump off the bat and be pretty strong.
This tweet coming from Jonathan Foster. Speaking of MLS intervention, should USL have had more of an active role in pushing Andrew Gutman to Nashville?
Ooh.
Anybody familiar? If you're not familiar with that story, Andrew Gutman was a product of the Chicago Fire Academy. Went to, I believe, Indiana University, if I'm not mistaken, and decided to sign a professional contract with Celtic over in the Scottish Premier League.
After being offered a contract by Chicago, which was a minimum contract, and he refused.
Right. So he then goes and signs with Celtic, and then Nashville had an agreement in place to bring him back over stateside to be basically a loan player for their USL side this year. And Major League Soccer said, "Nah, baby, nah, not happening." And Nashville decided to play nice. What are your thoughts, Brad?
I think if you want to be a part of the league and the game, you got to play by the rules. And the rules, they have, discovery rights. They've trained this kid. I can see why Chicago would be pissed about that. Why should potential MLS team coming in have one of our players? I think it's petty. I think it's a shame because it stunts his development. And there's a lot of problems, but this is part of the rules. FC Cincinnati lost out on Fabian Johnson. They had to accept that. We know that Major League Soccer is different than every other league out there. It's single entity. You've got programs where if the kid plays in the system and academy for a year, you can sign him to a homegrown deal. There's other rights associated with that. So it's part of it, like it or not. So I don't fault Chicago for wanting to do that, and if Nashville wants to be in this league, in this game, they gotta eat some crap a little bit.
I was pretty vocal about this on Twitter this week, just because you're toeing the line, and FC Cincinnati toed the line last year. We were a USL team, and we were also a Major League Soccer team, because you need that full year to build your roster. So you can't just wait till the USL season ends to start. We signed Audi, we signed Alashi to our Major League Soccer roster before our USL season was even up, and then we also, got in there to the USL. Nashville has 2 Major League Soccer players already. Point taken. They have Cameron Lancaster, and then they've signed one other whose name slips my mind at the moment. They are a Major League Soccer team. They have 2 teams. So, even though they're not playing in Major League Soccer, they are a Major League Soccer team. And by de facto, Major League Soccer can kind of boss them around. They can kind of make up, if you take this kid, then 1, you got to buy his rights from Chicago, and 2, you lose your first round draft pick next year. I mean, they pulled that kind of thing on FCC, and yes, it's petty, and Chicago threw a fit, but you want to be in this league, then you have to play by the crazy rules we may not all agree with, but they are a part of it, and that's the price you pay for being in 2 leagues at the same time. Honestly, if Nashville was not in Major League Soccer, then this would go through just fine.
Yeah. This tweet is for you, Boston. Matt, the unused sub, good friend of the show, says, "How excited are you about the Rowdies' new signings? I'll hang up and listen."
I tell you what, I've followed USL moves way more than I thought I would, and I'm a little pumped about the Rowdies. They got that new deal with Norwich City, and I think it's going to be pretty big. What's crazy is we're making the switch, and I'm trying to learn everything I can about Major League Soccer. I'm trying to learn about other teams in Major League Soccer, their rosters, their players, and I know the big names. Everybody knows the big names. I don't know who the 11th guy is for the Vancouver Whitecaps right now, and I won't figure that out until we play them. But I know the USL, and I know these players, and it's going to take some time, I think, for my love of that league to fade, and then I'll watch the Rowdies. I look forward to. I hope they have a way better season than last year when the wheels fell off, and and I think they'll do okay.
Yeah, I think I haven't been paying much attention to what's been going on in the USL. I do know that Indy 11 is going to be a fun team to watch here in the East this year. So I'm hoping they can knock Louisville off their perch. So good stuff, good tweet. This is also for Boston. Man, he's just on fire today. How will the Dutch Lions do this season? Also, how do you feel about the city of Boston and the band Boston?
Dutch Lions are going to do well. They finished with Paul Nicholson as their coach. They kind of came out of the gate and did pretty well last year. They almost made the U.S. Open Cup if they had just won one game against Dayton. And I mean, that would have been just awesome for the chance of Cincinnati versus Cincinnati in the Open Cup and Paul Nicholson versus his former team. The storylines write themselves. I was dreaming of it. Dayton got in, which is still pretty awesome. It's the first time in our 4 years of covering Cincinnati soccer that we will have a amateur local team in the U.S. Open Cup. So I'm still going to cheer for Dayton in that. I think Cincinnati Dutch Lions, however, though, are going to pick it back up this year. They finished third last season. Let's go ahead and bump it to second or first, and they're in that Open Cup spot. So Paul Nicholson is bringing back some guys I think that are going to be really good. And that team, I tell you what, they've got one guy that every single season that has gone on to bigger and better things. So they really are developing players down there. And I hope FC Cincinnati can grab one of their young college talents here soon.
What league are they? Is that NPSL?
No, that's actually the USL. I think now it's called League Two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, formerly NPSL. So is that
No, they were USL Pro.
Yeah, PDL is what it used to be called.
USL PDL.
Thank you.
USL PDL.
I know that recently Toledo Villa joined the NPSL. So
yeah,
trying to get that going up here. But so have you ever been to Boston?
I have never been to Boston in the fall any other season.
Oh,
but it is it's a city that obviously I need to go to for my namesake. It's a city I'm named after because of the Boston Celtics and Larry Bird.
That's why you're named? Is that for real?
Yeah, I'm named Boston because my dad went to speaking of IU, my dad went to
Indiana State.
Yeah, he went to Indiana State, and
then where does IU come in?
I'm sorry, that's in Bloomington, right?
Yes.
I'm not from Indiana. My parents are.
Indiana State's Terre Haute.
Yes, Terre Haute, Indiana.
That's
where both of my parents are from, Terre Haute. And Larry Bird was an education major, kind of. Somehow his education, student teaching kind of conflicted with someone in my dad's family. And anyway, everybody in Indiana is a massive Hoosier and Larry Bird fan. When he went to play for the Boston Celtics, my dad was a massive Boston Celtics fan. And yes, so he decided to name me literally Boston after Larry Bird's NBA team.
All right.
Unfortunately, that name is the only thing you got in common with Larry Bird.
I'm white.
The color of his skin.
You got me.
What about the band Boston?
Band Boston's pretty awesome. I tried to love them because of the name, but I'm not a huge Boston fan, but I would go see them if they were in town. It's what I would call average music. Sorry.
Average?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, more than a feeling, just the
Can
guitar.
You sing that? I'm not even sure what that song is. Sing it for me.
Do I want to sing it? No, I don't want to sing it. It requires a very high-pitched male voice, which I don't have.
You can do it.
More than a feeling. You've never heard that song, Brad?
I don't think so.
They have some hits, but they also have some. As someone who's literally listened to album after album of theirs, because I share the name, some of their songs are just.
Oh, I think I know it.
They have some good hits.
I feel like
yeah, he's on it now.
Yeah, I got you. I got you there.
Oh man, we're just yeah.
Extra time.
Oh, very very nice comment on Twitter, which I will not respond to. Thanks for your tweets. Make sure you send them in #CST Extra Time. Many thanks to our intern Jacob for putting those together. And good stuff this week, gentlemen. We will see. We'll see everybody next week for the next edition of CST.